Getting thrown sucks. Getting thrown into a combo sucks even more. Getting thrown multiple times in a row sucks the most. Or does it? Chain throws are some of the most annoying things to get hit by in Tekken, often being a major point of frustration in matchups like King and Nina, and now Armor King. Being new to Tekken 8, I imagine a lot of people may be struggling with how to deal with them. Thankfully, when you look at the numbers behind chain throws, you'll understand that they actually aren't that strong, and are arguably worse than normal throws. Let's analyze Armor King's chain throws to see how you can defend against them. And no worries, you won't need a doctorate in data science to understand this. It's all simple math, but if you don't care the specifics, skip to the timestamp on the screen for your main takeaways that you need to know to defend against Armor King. To do this, we need to understand what expected value is. The simple explanation is that expected value is how much value you expect to get out of an option. I know, right? Who would have thought? The more complicated explanation is that expected value is a numeric value made to represent how much you're expecting to gain or lose from picking a specific option based off of its value and chance of happening versus the other options over time. Value in this video will be defined as damage, since unlike other metrics such as screen distance, wall travel, frame data, damage is completely objective, making it the best metric to use for expected value. But yeah, all you need to know about expected value is that expected value is, well, the value that you can expect. To drive this point home, let's take a look at Kazuya's classic 50-50. For example, the 4-4-3 versus Hell Sweep. A standard, no execution Kazuya combo without walls or resources does 72 damage. If it's blocked, Kazuya gets 0 damage. Since it's a 50-50, whether the opponent's stand blocks or crouch blocks, the expected value is 72 divided by 2, or 72 times 50%, which is 36, plus 0 divided by 2, or multiplied by 50%, which is 0. This makes the expected value of 4-4-3 36. I know that this formula doesn't include sidestepping since 4-4-3 is very linear. I intentionally excluded that for simplicity. Now that we understand how expected value works, let's take a look at Armor King's chain throws. Armor King's chain throws always starts with Cobra Clutch, a 20 damage throw that can be a 1 break or 2 break, giving the first option an expected value of 10. Very simple. If the opponent guessed wrong, they are now presented with a 3-way guess instead of a 2-way guess, a rock, paper, scissors situation instead of a coin flip. You have to guess between the fleeing half Nelson, the sleeper, and the neck drop. This sounds terrible to defend against. You just had a 50-50, now you have to deal with a 3-way guess? But no worries, this is actually where the chain throw's value begins to plummet. The longer a chain throw lasts, the harder it is to get value out of it, due to the nature of consecutive guessing. In this case, these values aren't just adjusted by 33%, you have to consider the fact that the opponent had to have guessed wrong already to get here. So that means this actually comes out to a 16.5% chance. Thus, the Fleeing Nelson, which is a 1 break, deals a total of 45 damage, has a value of 7.42. The Sleeper and the Neck Drop are different, being a 2 and a 1+2 break respectively. Both deal 35 damage with an expected value of 5.77. The Neck Drop gives a 50-50 between a 1 break and a 2 break. The Choke Sleeper, which is a 1 break, deals a total of 60 damage with an expected value of 4.95. The 2 break is the 3 count Pound, which deals 65 damage, has an expected value of 5.36. The Sleeper is objectively worse. It has a 1 break and a 2 break, but they deal less damage. The Triple Trouble is a 1 break that deals 55 damage, with an expected value of 4.54. And the Human Necktie is a 2 break that deals 60 damage, with an expected value of 4.95. Now, compare this to getting normally thrown. For example, the classic 3-way guess between Giant Swing, Tombstone, and Shining Wizard, Armor King's main 1, 2, and 1+2 breaks respectively, they deal 45, 45, and 53 damage respectively, assuming you Blue Spark the Shining Wizard and the Giant Swing. And now you'll get values of 15, 15, and 17.66 respectively. For the chances of successfully landing the chain throws, the most valuable option, the 1 break, the Flicking Nelson, is half as valuable as a Blue Spark Giant Swing or Shining Wizard. So what does this all mean? What are you supposed to take away from this as the defender? 1. Do not panic. Armor King's chain throws are the most valuable at the start. The further they go, the less valuable they are because of the decreasingly likely chance that the Armor King main will continue to guess right. Unlike Kings, which actually do have a fair bit of value, if you want to take a look at those, see the video in the top right. Armor King's chain throws are really bad when you understand the math behind it. Here's the simplest way to think about it. The 1 break is the most consistent high value option. The 2 and 1+2 routes are gambles for more damage. with the 2 break following these routes always being more damaging than the 1 break. Here's the best strategy to use depending on what rank you're in. If you're in any rank below Tekken King, always tech 1+2 after the first throw. Most Armor King players in these ranks are kind of lazy and will by default try to go for the 3 count pound, the highest damage option. I myself do this just to see if my opponent understands how this chain throw works. If the Armor King player instead goes for the sleeper 50-50, which is a 2 break, try to tech 2, as again, lower rank players almost always go for the higher damage option without thinking twice. Against higher rank players, Armor King players will understand the value of their options. It'll be much more of a mind game as they will mix up their options and are more willing to cash out early instead of always gambling for higher damage. The safest as the defender is to tech 1. If you do tech 1, you stop the chain throw. Good job. But if they go for a 1+2 or a 2, they still have to guess one more time to get any more value than a normal command throw. Of course, just like any good player, you shouldn't do this all the time as they will eventually catch on. However, this can be a good starting point for when you have no information on how the opposing Armor King plays. Thank you all so much for watching. I promise the math of Hwoarang is on its way. The script is written and everything. I'm just having trouble making the video digestible because Hwoarang has so many goddamn moves. If you like these types of videos, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.